Hello everyone, hope you are all doing well. Today I am going to talk a bit about my workout program in terms of what I do inside the gym. Let's get right into it. So my workout program currently is specifically tailored to me. It is programmed in such a way that it addresses my weak points. I go to the gym 5 times a week and 2 rest days. So my gym cycle starts on a Friday. I go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, rest on a Monday, go again Tuesday, Wednesday, and then rest again on a Thursday before repeating that cycle again on Friday. In terms of specific program and what I do, I will give you a full breakdown for free. So let's start off with Friday. On Friday, I train legs, and the first exercise on the menu is single leg lying hamstring curls. I do single legs because when I do both legs together, sometimes I feel a better connection on one of my hamstrings, specifically my right hamstring, as opposed to my left hamstring. And because bodybuilding is all about symmetry, I do it single leg such that I get a bit more of a balanced stimulus between my right and my left hamstring. I do 3 working sets. Reps I do between 8 and 15, following a reverse pyramid structure. Between each leg I rest for 90 seconds. Tempo wise, I do like a 2 to 3 second eccentric. Okay, so the second exercise I do is the leg extension. I tend to do slightly higher reps. I can get a really good squeeze on the quads. This is my first quad movement of leg day because this is pretty much the only exercise where you're shortening the quad muscles in this way to this extent, and you're really able to progressive overload it easily and at the same time get a really good squeeze at the start of your workout when your quads are still fresh. These I roughly would do anywhere between 12 and 16, 17 reps. Make sure I get a full stretch at the bottom, get the full range of motion in, and then at the top squeeze. So the third exercise I do is the seated hamstring curl. Just another movement for the hamstrings that I'm completely locked in. I can get a really good squeeze out of it. I'll rest for around 2 to 3 minutes in between sets, because pretty much every single set I do here is going to failure. By the time I hit my next working set, I can hit it with the right level of intensity. I want the intensity to remain high and I want to go to failure. After that, my hamstring work for the day is done. Then we move on to the juicier part of the leg workout.
Yeah, boy.
Where we have hack squats. I do 2 working sets, all out to failure. First set would be roughly 8 to 10 reps, and then the second set I'll back down to do roughly 12 to 15 reps, and that will be my 2 working sets for my quads done. After which I move on to my final quad exercise of the day, which is the leg press. 2 working sets to failure as well. 8 to 10 rep range for my first set, and then anywhere between 12 and 15 for my second set. So after all my quad and hamstring work, I'll do some more accessory stuff. So I'll do some hip adductors to close the gap in between my legs when I step on stage. Hopefully my legs won't have a huge gap in between them when I flex them. I think that adductor bit is always very aesthetic, you know, when bodybuilders' legs are kind of touching each other and there's not that gap in between. I'll do 3 working sets, all of them again to failure. Reps between 8 and 15, reverse pyramid. After that I'll do some hanging leg raises for the abs, because you can never forget about abs. So I train abs, 3 sets of hanging leg raises to failure before finishing off the day with some seated calf raises. 3 sets to failure again. And then these are typically rest about 2 minutes between each set, and that's leg day done. Moving on to Saturday, which is a pull day for me. The first exercise is a T-bar row. I think T-bar row is one of my favorite exercises to do for the upper back. I think it is just such a good movement in terms of I can get such a good mind muscle connection. At the same time I can grip and rip it, I can do tempo work on it. It's so versatile. I usually use a pronated grip as opposed to like a 45-degree grip. The reason being my upper back and back thickness needs to catch up to my lat width, for my lats, so my back width. Hence I use a pronated grip to really focus on that upper back. 3 working sets. I do anywhere between 6 and 15 reps. I get a really good squeeze out of it, great mind muscle connection, kaboom, turtle shell incoming. Flare out the elbows, just to make sure that it's proper, it's upper back. After which we move on to the second set, which is the lat pull down. When it comes to lat pull down, I think one of the best grips I like to use is a mag grip. If you don't know what a mag grip is, I'll try and find one and put it on screen right here. I use a kind of pronated grip, but like very semi, so it's not completely 180. It's not completely like this, it's more like this a little bit, if that kind of makes sense. Again, as with everything else, everything's to failure, and with lat pull downs, 3 sets of that, that's the only exercise during the week where I do to target my lats. The reason being, my lats are a stronger point of mine compared to other body parts, so I don't need to work on it as much, and I need other body parts to catch up. Hence, I allocate more of my weekly volume to other body parts other than my lats. Now, for most people out there, you might think 3 sets of lat pull downs a week as your main lat movement, so only 3 working sets a week is ridiculously little, and I would be inclined to agree with you. But it's just, you know, how my body is built at the moment, and to chase that bodybuilding proportions, I need to dial it back, even though I love doing and I love training lats. Third exercise is the cable row. I take a pronated grip again, exact same reason as the T-bar row, 3 working sets. This one I do slightly higher reps. I do anywhere between 10 and 15 reps. Slow eccentric, slight pause and squeeze at the top, and then that rounds out the cable row movement. And then the last back exercise of the day is 2 working sets of a wide grip machine row, which is chest supported. The purpose is to just absolutely finish and decimate the upper back. After this exercise, my back is absolutely finished, and yeah, no more rows for me for at least a couple days. So that's all the back movement done on pull day. Next, we would move on to a reared out machine. So I would normally do it on a pec deck, but like a reverse pec deck fly. I like to stand whilst doing this. I'm sure some of you might already know. Really squeeze the reared outs. I stand just because I feel a better contraction and my muscle connection that way. I do anywhere between 8 to 15 reps, and then I move on to biceps. So biceps, I do 2 exercises on this day. First one I do is a preacher curl machine. 3 working sets, all of them to failure, in between 8 and 15 reps. Afterwards, I move on to my last exercise of the day, which is hammer curls. Now, hammer curls I can either do with dumbbells, or I can do with a rope on a cable machine. I can even do them on a preacher curl machine and just use a hammer curl grip. Like some preacher curls, you can have a little bit of leeway and you can kind of just grip it like that and then just do your hammer curls. I always make sure my elbows are trying to stick on the pad, and then that's my pull day done. Now moving on to Sunday, push day. I start my push days with a bit of lateral raises, lateral raise variation for the shoulders, because I think it's always good to have the shoulders pumped and warm before you get into any kind of chest pressing or flying movements. So might as well do some lateral raises, and at the same time you're fresh at the start of your workout, so it's always good to blow up those shoulders whilst you're fresh. Slow and controlled eccentric again. This movement I do 3 working sets of failure, anywhere between 8 and 15 reps. Pumps my delts full of blood. And yeah, I use cuffed because I get a mind muscle connection, get a better squeeze, and then my grip isn't a limiting factor. After 3 working sets, I move on to the incline plate loaded chest press. 3 working sets of those, anywhere between 8 to 12 reps. As you can see, that's my first chest movement, and I target the upper chest because upper chest always needs to be brought up a bit more compared to my mid to lower chest. Third exercise I do is some flat cuffed chest flies on the cable machine. Again, the benefit of cables is it means that the resistance between your left and your right pack is the same, so it's kind of a unilateral movement, but you do it at the same time, so you even get a better balance. I get a really good pump from this. 4 working sets of failure, 8 reps, 10 reps, 12 reps, and then 4th set is 15 reps. Again, very slow eccentric. I get a really good stretch on the chest fibers, fully stretch it, and then contract it at the top and hold. Yeah, ever since I've started doing this for my mid to lower chest, I think I've gotten really good progress from it. And then I move on to the machine chest press, where I only do 2 working sets, again to complete failure, This is my last chest movement, so on this chest press machine I normally go absolutely crazy. And then I move on to another lateral raise variation, not usually a machine, so it's easy to do because we're quite far into the workout now. Another 3 sets to failure, absolutely finish my side delts as well. After which we have some abs again. So this time we have some KO crunches to target the top abs a bit more. And then I have some triceps as well, so I do some tricep extensions, rope specifically, 3 working sets to failure, and that rounds off my push day. Monday typically I take a rest day, so after work usually I make the food, make dinner for the rest of the week. Tuesday we have a posterior chain day, so it's hamstrings and a pull day. First exercise I have is lying hamstring curls again, single leg, exact same execution as before. The second exercise I have is a Romanian deadlift with the barbell. Trains the hamstrings in a lengthened position, trains the whole posterior chain, the glutes, the lower back as well. So really great movement, I love it. I normally do 3 working sets of it, anywhere between 8 to 12 reps. Sometimes I'll go heavier and do 6 reps of this, but most of the time I do 8 to 12 reps, just because with as heavy of a load, I find it's easier, especially with a movement like barbell RDLs, I find the form breakdown a lot easier. So what that means is I just don't feel it as much in my hamstrings, whereas I want it to be kind of a hamstring movement because I want to bring up my hamstrings. So I do anywhere between 8 to 12 reps normally. If I'm brave I go for 6. I'll add a chucker, an extra 5 kilos on each side, and then go for 6 instead of 8. Those little small plates, 2.5 kilos, 5 kilos, they're the goat of weight plays. They're the key to progressive overload. Third exercise, we have pen lay rows. Again, since it's a posterior chain day, pen lay rows targets the back and the posterior chain as well. Lower back again for stabilization. Engage the hammies and the glutes as well for, again, stabilization. And then literally just rip it back to the floor, reset, and then bam, bam, bam. Anywhere between 8 to 12 reps. 3 working sets of failure. After this exercise I instantly turn 80 years old because my lower back is absolutely fried and I cannot walk with my body straight. Fourth exercise, we have the T-bar row. Again, this one I've already said how much I love it. I do that for 3 sets. Grip and rip it. I'm just trying to move weight. Fifth exercise of the day is some rear delts. This time I do it with a cable, so I'll do cables cross rear delt flies like this. Squeeze at the top, slow eccentric. Gotta get that rear delts popping for that 3D shoulder look. So when you look front on, you're wide. When you look from the side, you got Death Star on your shoulders. Just get that really rounded look. So I don't want, you know, my delt to be front bias and then you kind of look hunched over from the side. I want that rear delt popping just to give you that all-rounded shoulder look. And then I do some shrugs. Normally I do it on a shrug machine, 3 sets of failure. I do quite high reps for these, so at least 12 reps just to get, if I do really low reps again, I just don't really feel the traps working. So, and then I have biceps where I do some sort of unilateral bicep curl, either on a preacher machine or dumbbell or cable, anything I fancy. 3 sets of failure, again slow eccentric, up, drive up, squeeze at the top. I finish off my Tuesdays with also some adductor and calves work. So adductor, exact same as my leg day, 3 working sets of failure on the hip adductor machine, and then I have 3 sets of failure on standing calf raises, and then that concludes my posterior chain day. The last workout of the week, push day on a Wednesday. I start off with a prone cuffed lateral raise on a cable machine. So I bring a bench over, lie on there. So imagine the cables here. If the cables are here, we have a bench in the middle. So I'm lying on the bench and then I'm doing some cuffed here and then lateral raise like this. I'll try and find a picture online so you just don't see me doing this, but yeah, that's what I do. 3 sets of failure, 8 to 15 reps, reverse pyramid, slow eccentric, and then we have a cuffed chest fly for the upper chest. I think it's called a cuffed clavicular fly. Exact same setup on the cable machine with the bench in the middle, but I just do like a chest fly. Like this. Like this. 3 working sets of failure again. Really good squeeze at the top. Third exercise, we have the shoulder press. Now, When it comes to shoulder press, I love this Panata machine, so I just basically go ham on that. But I can do dumbbells as well, or I can do a Smith machine shoulder press. Those work well with me as well. 8 to 15 reps, 3 working sets to failure. After this, by now my triceps should be pretty tired, but I again do a flat chest press variation, either on the chest press machine or a Smith machine flat barbell bench press. I do machine because I can basically control the eccentric a lot more and keep the tension on the chest, but barbell is completely fine as well. 8 to 12 reps, all to failure. And then fifth exercise, we have a lateral raise variation again, either a single arm cuff lateral raise on the cable machine, either a dumbbell lateral raise or a lateral raise machine, any of them. 3 sets to failure, just absolutely destroying them. And then sixth exercise, we have some triceps with an easy bar, 3 sets to failure. And then I have some ab work again. Normally I do leg raises because less equipment, and also I do like to do slightly more lower ab focused work, so leg raises as opposed to cable crunches, just to keep it tucked in. So I do leg raises again, 3 sets to failure, and then that's pretty much it. One of the things you might notice from my workouts is that I train everything twice a week other than my quads, which is only on a Friday. This is basically just me learning about my body. If I take my quad exercises to failure pretty much every single set, then it takes me a long time to recover. But at the same time, given the fact that my hamstrings are lacking compared to my quads, my hamstring adductors specifically, I train my quads once a week, everything else twice a week. And yeah, that's pretty much my workout for the week. It will be subject to changes as we make improvement in certain areas, we balance it out. I guess also volume might change depending on calories, because that affects your recovery. But for now, that is what I'm doing. That is what I will be doing to at least the end of the year, where I'm going to keep bulking. This has been my workout. It's been an absolute pleasure sharing my workout program with you. If you have any kind of questions, do feel free to reach out either in the comment section but down below, or on my Instagram, which it will be in the description. Bye.